delegates from Government of Odisha, from incubation ecosystem, from startups and other participants. It's my proud privilege to extend you all a very hearty welcome on this first anniversary of OHUB. You may be aware that on this very date, a year before, the Honorable CM of Odisha, Sri Naveen Patnaik ji, inaugurated this OHUB and Opportunity Hub, our state-owned incubator of state of Odisha. And since then, the OHUB has been able to become a center stage of several ecosystem activities. We were interested with initiatives and programs to energize the startup ecosystem of Odisha, to provide incubation services, to provide the startups the ecosystem support services like mentors, investor support services and such other services. And I am very glad, I take pride in informing the audience and also the Principal Secretary Government of Odisha that Startup Odisha and its incubator that we call OHUB has been able to put in place the services which are required to promote and sustain the startup ecosystem of Odisha. By now we are 1430 strong startup ecosystem. We are working with 25 incubators from all across the Odisha, and these incubators are working in varieties of domains. We have been able to capitalize the R&D and technology institution within the state of Odisha. They are working as nodal agencies for us, helping us with the domain knowledge in curating and nurturing a particular startups in particular domain. We have been able to reach to every nook and corner of the state through our Startup Yatra 2.0, which was launched by Honorable CM himself in the month of August this year. And I am very glad to inform, and most of you must be knowing that Yatra was a good success in terms of its outreach, its connect with the young boys and girls of Odisha. We reached 100 spots, 100 institutions. We covered all 30 districts in 60 days Yatra, and we were able to identify 300 young boys and girls who pitched their ideas. And finally, through a very objective evaluation process, we recognized, we identified 22 such startups whose ideas were found to be very, very nice, very, very great, very, very progressive and relevant. In this very hall itself, in this very committee room, auditorium itself, a boot camp was organized, and out of that, we recognized 11, identified 11 such startups who were also felicitated in our Make in Odisha conclave in the hands of Honorable Minister MSME and also by the Principal Secretary MSME. We were in this year, we also conducted ecosystem event in terms of investment. Fund Stack 2.0 was such an event which was organized in this OHUB and such other places. We invited several fund managers, investors, and they interacted with our people, our young boys and girls, our startups, and so many investments have happened over a period of time. This year itself, we also took initiative of launching our fund of fund. We call it Odisha Startup Growth Fund. And you will be very happy again to know that whereas the commitment from the government of Odisha was merely 100 crore, we got a interest from the 7 AIF fund managers in tune of more than 800 crore. And therefore, the government of Odisha was very kind enough, proactive enough to agree to enhance its contribution from 100 crore to 255 crore. Now this close to 1000 crore total corpus or fund, putting together the government of Odisha's commitment and the commitment from 7 fund operators, the entire this close to 1000 crore of funding is going to get into our startup ecosystem in another 5 years. And this is going to boost the strength and maturity of our startup ecosystem. This fund is going to attract not only investors, but also the prospective startups, because this fund is going to allure them to promote them, and they are going to come to our state. Apart from that, we have also seen from the statistics that during this last year only, the startup ecosystem of Odisha has been able to attract the investment of 270 crore. With this 270 crore, the entire funding that has come into our system goes to 351 crore. And this is a good number. The startup ecosystem in the state of Odisha has attained critical mass, and it is getting attention. In this Make in Odisha Conclave 2022, which was a grand success by all standards, with 10.848 lakhs crore investment, capable of potential of creating more than 10 lakhs job in times to come, was a grand success. And you will be again happy, and you are partner of our journey of Startup Odisha, that on the very first day of, we got an opportunity to showcase our prowess, our strength in the plenary hall itself. And we have, and that event was participated by more than 2,000 young boys and girls and startups of this state. That goes to prove that the startup ecosystem is not only getting due attention, it is getting due participation from the young boys and girls and the startups. It is also getting noticed by the ecosystem players from all across the world. This MIO, which was participated by industry leaders, investors, policy makers, bureaucrats and influencers, they all could witness our prowess, our strength, our potential, not only through our schematic session which happened in the plenary hall, but also through the exhibition that happened during MIO. It was largely participated by various delegates and industry leaders who participated in MIO, and we got noticed. Government of Odisha plays a lot of thirst on the startup ecosystem. It sees Startup Odisha as a next big initiative, and that is why there is no dearth of fund that we face. You will be very glad again that in this Tower A, initially we were allotted only 5 floors, and we must thank the government of Odisha. The Principal Secretary MSME himself is here. This entire Tower A, all the floors, along with the Tower B, all the floors, which are 12-floor building, we have been given 3.8 lakhs square feet of space, with the entire budget commitment from the government, which goes close to 430 crore. And this has all been granted. It is not in plans anymore. With 3.8 lakhs crore, both the Tower A and B, the Startup Odisha positions itself is one of the top 5 startup ecosystem in the entire country. If you look at the policy, Odisha Startup and Innovation Policy 2016, I always tell people that when Startup India was being conceived, exactly at that point of time, Government of Odisha came up with Startup Odisha Startup and Innovation Policy 2016. And it also revised in the midway its policy in 2018 to bring certain more domain into it. At this moment, this policy is under revision. We are trying to make it better, aggressive and very ambitious policy. Even the policy which exists today is best in class with the kind of incentive it offers to the young boys and girls. Nowhere in this entire country we give grant, 16 lakh grant to the startups. Everywhere there is a model of equity and debt. We give straight away grant to them. We believe, unlike any other state, we believe a kind of ecosystem to found our activities on an ecosystem. I always tell, there are certain leaders from incubation ecosystem, and they all know that Startup Odisha takes pride in working with the incubator ecosystem. It firmly believes that the kind of vision that the government of Odisha has for the startup ecosystem in the state, the kind of vision the Honorable CM has given for us, that we have to have 5,000 startups by 2025, and we have to emerge one of the top 3 startup ecosystem in the entire nation, for which we have certain plans in place. We want all the academic institutions of this state to nurture, to energize, to sensitize the young boys and girls and orient them so that they can indulge into ideation and so that they can become startups in times to come. Then we want all the educational institutions to eventually establish incubators so that all those young boys and girls who ideate and decide to become an entrepreneur can be hosted and nurtured in the incubation ecosystem. Then we want a proper investment ecosystem to grow in the state. Not only that we have launched fund of fund, or we have been able to attract the investor ecosystem from all across the country, because they are now paying attention to the state of Odisha. Our startups are getting noticed, but we also want to have our own Odisha venture capital fund in due course of time. So we are very futuristic. We are thinking in all directions. If you talk about incubation ecosystem, we are not contented with 5 incubators that we have right now. We want lots of incubators in the state of Odisha at various levels, at various grades. Maybe that today we will have different grades of incubator ecosystem. Certain incubator ecosystem will be grade A with lot of quality, and certain will be just start and they will be the best at work at the base quality. But Startup Odisha and Government of Odisha believes to invest for the future, and therefore we will invest heavily in the startup ecosystem, in the incubation system, so that in times to come, the kind of energy, the kind of sensitization that Odisha is creating at the grassroots level, we want to able to serve and contain all the energies that is getting created and host them in our incubator ecosystem. This O-Hub is in true sense going to be the clearing house of ideas. It is going to be hub of all the activities. It is going to connect all the incubators of this state. It is going to inculcate and deliver best practices to all the incubators of this. It is going to host all those center of excellences, domain knowledge centers, so that we are able to fill the void and requirement wherever it exists. We are not going to compete with the incubator ecosystem. Wherever best of the incubators exist, best of the domain exists, we are not going to compete. But O-Hub is going to fill all the requirement of the ecosystem whenever there is a gap. And therefore this O-Hub is an ambitious program of Government of Odisha. Startup Odisha is an ambitious program of Government of Odisha. As I said, Government of Odisha sees and keeps lot of hope on us. We are the leaders in certain items of agricultural produce. We are leaders in metallurgy, mining. We have metals, lot of heavy industries, legacy industries all across Odisha. We have a very small number of that way MSME industry in the state, and therefore as the planners in Government of Odisha feel that we have not been able to take the benefit of the heavy industries, the natural resources that we had at one point of time, or we have today, through the MSME, which is seen as a job creator tool or machine or engine of job creation. And that is why, while Government of Odisha is focusing on promoting entrepreneurship in all sorts of all sectors, it also wants to promote the MSME sector. It also wants to create a downstream of all legacy industries. Equally, at the same point of time, it puts lot of hope on Startup Odisha. And that is why, as I said, government is so generous to us. It gives all sorts of funds, whatever we want. We have to spend that fund. We have to make Startup Odisha as well as O-Hub as a center stage of activities. Over a period of time, we have been able to, during last 1 year, we have conducted certain activities. It is now, the people of Odisha now largely know about O-Hub. It has become a good address. However, we have to work harder. We have to do more things so that we are able to, position O-Hub not only a kind of hub of all the startup activity, but it should also, it has to deliver the vision and mandate for which it has been created. It has to serve the aspirations of young boys and girls of this state. It has to host all sorts of facilitation, laboratories, center of excellences, and a place where all the ecosystem players can work and operate and handhold the startups and young boys and girls in the of this state. With these few words, I must extend a warm welcome to all of you, and I must extend a very warm welcome to the Principal Secretary, Government of Odisha, Sri Shashwat Mishra ji, and other officials of the government who are present here. Thank you very much.